If you've been noticing that your erections are getting softer, less dependable, or maybe they've stopped altogether, this could be one of the most important health messages you hear all year. Because it's not just about getting older. There's something else that could be quietly making things worse, and it's right there on your plate. As a surgeon who works with men's health every day, I can tell you this: the food you eat has a direct effect on the strength, blood flow, and energy in your private parts. And if you're over 60, this connection becomes even more important. I'm Dr. Mohit Kara. I'm a urologist and men's health specialist, and I've spent more than 30 years helping older men get back in control of their sexual health naturally. Over the years, I've seen what truly works and what doesn't, and today I want to share something that most doctors just won't tell you. Here's the surprising part. A lot of the foods you've probably been told to stay away from, especially for heart health, things like red meat, seeds, and even certain leafy greens, can actually help increase blood flow to your penis, raise your testosterone, and help you feel more. So, in just a few minutes, I'll show you 3 specific foods backed by real science that can help make your erections firmer, lift your confidence, and bring back your energy. And wait until you hear about the 3rd one. Hardly anyone talks about it, but it could be the secret to having the best sex you've had in years. Before we jump into the foods that can make such a big difference, take a second to subscribe to this channel and turn on your notifications. That way, you won't miss out on other important tips made especially for men over 60. Now, let's talk about the starting point, the foundation of it all. Before we talk about testosterone or supplements or even desire, there's one thing that has to be in place for an erection to happen, and that's blood flow. Once you understand how blood flow works, you'll see clearly why your performance may have changed, and more importantly, how you can get it back. Let's begin there. Here's the first key point: why blood flow is everything when it comes to erections. When I speak with men in their 60s and 70s who are having trouble with weak erections, or sometimes none at all, I don't start by asking about testosterone or stress or even medications. I ask about blood flow. Here's something a lot of men never hear. An erection is really a blood flow event. It's not just about being in the mood or feeling turned on. It's about whether or not your arteries can bring enough blood into the penis, fast enough and in a strong enough amount to keep it firm. That can only happen when your blood vessels are healthy, open, and flexible. Now, here's where it gets tough. By the time most men reach their 60s, their arteries have been quietly damaged for decades. Years of eating processed foods, too much sugar, not moving around enough, and stress, they all take a toll. Slowly, plaque builds up inside the arteries, making them narrower and slowing the flow. At first, you might just notice your erections aren't quite as firm. Then, staying hard gets harder. And eventually, your body just can't do it anymore. It's easy to blame aging, and many men do. But I can't tell you how many patients I've seen completely turn things around just by taking care of their blood flow. There's one man I remember well. He was 67, a retired teacher. He looked me in the eye and said, "Doc, I thought my sex life was over. I figured this is just what happens when you get older." But once he made a few small changes, especially to what he was eating, everything began to shift. His erections came back stronger, he had more energy, and most importantly, his confidence returned. That's the power of healthy blood flow. It gives you life, not just for your heart, but in your bedroom too. So before we start reaching for pills or treatments, we have to deal with the root of the issue. And here's the good news: you can support your circulation naturally just by choosing the right foods. In fact, the very first food I recommend for improving blood flow and helping your testosterone might surprise you. It's something you've probably been told to avoid. But when it's the right kind and prepared the right way, it becomes one of the most powerful tools you have for better erections. Let's talk about it. First up, grass-fed beef, what I like to call the hormone restorer. For years, many of my older patients have come in saying the same thing. "Doc, I've cut back on red meat just like my doctor told me." but I still feel tired, sluggish, and disconnected in the bedroom. And that's when I gently explain that the problem may not be the red meat itself, but the type of meat they were eating and what they were missing when they gave it up. See, grass-fed beef, clean, natural, and unprocessed, is one of the best foods for men's hormone health. Especially, it's full of zinc, which your body uses to make testosterone, the hormone that fuels everything from energy and mental clarity to sex drive and erection strength. It also gives you iron, which helps carry oxygen through your blood to the muscles and tissues that matter most. And it provides high-quality protein your body uses to build strength and keep you going. I remember a man in his early 70s who had stopped eating red meat completely. He thought it was good for his heart. But what he didn't realize was that his energy had dropped, his testosterone was down, and his erections had become weak. Once we added grass-fed beef back into his meals, just twice a week, along with a few other changes, things started to turn around. Within a month, his morning erections were back. His desire improved. And maybe best of all, he started feeling like himself again. Now, I'm not talking about greasy fast food burgers or heavily processed meats. I mean real grass-fed beef, the kind you can top with a slice of raw cheese if you like. That raw cheese also gives you vitamin K2, which helps keep your blood vessels open and flexible. It's simple, it's satisfying, and it works. But beef is only part of the picture. To really open up your arteries and boost blood flow where it matters, we need something fresh, green, and full of natural nitric oxide. And chances are you've walked right past it at the grocery store without realizing what it could do for you. Let's take a look. Now, let's dive into the second food that could help bring your energy and performance back. When most men think of leafy greens, they picture spinach or maybe kale. But there's one green that often gets overlooked, even though it might be one of the most powerful tools for restoring erections and improving blood flow. It's called arugula. Light, peppery, and easy to miss, arugula is what I like to call nature's blood flow booster. It might not look like much, but every little bite is packed with something your body craves, natural nitrates. Now, don't confuse these with the artificial nitrates found in things like processed meats. Those are harmful. The ones in arugula are clean, plant-based, and incredibly helpful. When you eat arugula, your body turns those nitrates into nitric oxide. That's a natural molecule that helps relax and open up your blood vessels, making it easier for blood to flow through. And as you've heard me say already, better blood flow means better erections. It really is that simple. I had a patient in his late 60s, a retired Navy vet. He told me it had been years since he'd had a morning erection. He felt like that part of his life was just behind him. We didn't jump straight into medications or treatments. We started with food. I asked him to add 1 small cup of arugula to his lunch every day. Nothing fancy, just fresh arugula, a drizzle of olive oil, and a bit of lemon juice. 2 weeks later, I got an email from him. He was laughing. He said, "Doc, I think my wife might be more surprised than I am." That's the power of arugula. It's simple to add to your plate, but the effect goes deep. It helps your blood vessels relax and improves circulation not just for your heart, but where it really counts in the bedroom. It works fast, it works naturally, and best of all, it works without any side effects. But remember, better blood flow is only part of the story. If you really want to support your erections, your body also needs the right minerals, especially as you get older. And that brings us to a small food that's often forgotten, but can make a big difference in how you feel and perform. Let's talk about the third food. One you might already have in your pantry, pumpkin seeds. Sometimes the most powerful things come in the smallest packages. That's exactly how I feel about pumpkin seeds. They're easy to overlook, often tossed aside after Halloween or left sitting in the back of the kitchen cupboard. But for older men, especially those dealing with low energy, weak erections, or fatigue, these tiny seeds can be a real game changer. I call pumpkin seeds nature's mineral powerhouse. Inside each little seed is a perfect mix of nutrients that support your sexual health and overall vitality. They're especially rich in magnesium, which is one of the most common mineral deficiencies I see in men over 60. Magnesium is essential because it helps your blood vessels relax and open up, improving circulation right where you need it most. It also helps lower cortisol, the stress hormone that quietly drains your sex drive and interferes with arousal. Pumpkin seeds are also packed with zinc, which supports testosterone, and selenium, which protects your prostate. When you put all of that together, it's easy to see why these little seeds are such a powerful tool for men's health. I had one patient, a 72-year-old grandfather, who came in feeling completely worn out. He hadn't had a firm erection in over a year and said he didn't feel like himself anymore. We looked at his blood work and found that both his magnesium and zinc levels were low. I asked him to start eating just a quarter cup of pumpkin seeds each day, raw and unsalted. He added them to his morning oatmeal, and sometimes he just grabbed a handful as a snack. For weeks later, he walked into my office with a big grin on his face. "Doc," he said, "I think I'm back." That's what happens when your body finally gets the minerals it's been missing, not through pills, but through real food. Pumpkin seeds are simple, affordable, and incredibly effective. And when you combine them with grass-fed beef and arugula, you're giving your body exactly what it needs to create the right environment for stronger, more dependable erections. But we're not done just yet. There's still one more important piece to this puzzle, and this one doesn't come from your dinner plate. It actually comes from the sky. It's something many men are missing, especially as they get older. And if your body is low on it, even the best foods in the world might not be enough. Let's take a closer look. Now let's move on to one of the simplest but most powerful nutrients that often gets overlooked, yet it could be the key to unlocking everything we've talked about so far. Now, there's one vital nutrient we haven't talked about yet. It's not something you eat with a fork or find in your spice rack. This one comes from the sun, and without enough of it, even the best foods and habits might not give you the results you're looking for. I'm talking about vitamin D3, and I often refer to it as the erection hormone. Vitamin D3 plays a powerful role in your body, especially when it comes to testosterone production and how well your blood vessels work. It helps reduce inflammation, keeps your blood pressure in check, and boosts nitric oxide, that same molecule we talked about earlier that helps your blood vessels open up and flow freely. But here's the thing. Many older men are low in vitamin D, and they don't even know it. As we get older, we naturally spend more time indoors. And even when we're outside, our skin doesn't produce vitamin D as efficiently as it used to. So, without realizing it, we can end up running on low levels, and that affects everything from energy to mood to sexual function. One patient of mine, a 65-year-old widower, had tried just about everything to improve his performance. He was eating better, taking walks, even trying herbal supplements, but nothing seemed to work. Then we tested his vitamin D levels, and they were shockingly low. We added a simple daily dose of 5,000 EU of vitamin D3 to his routine. That's it. And within just a few weeks, he told me something had shifted. He felt more awake, more clear-headed, and to his surprise, his nighttime erections, something he thought were long gone, started to return. It was an eye-opening reminder of how important this one nutrient really is. Now, if you're able, I always recommend getting outside for 15 to 20 minutes of sunlight each day. That's often the easiest and most natural way to boost your levels. But for many men, especially during colder months or if you live farther from the equator, a good quality supplement is a simple, effective way to fill the gap. And the benefits go far beyond the bedroom. Vitamin D3 also supports your immune system, helps with bone strength, and improves your overall vitality. So now that we've covered the foods and nutrients that can bring your erections and your energy out back to life, the next question is, how do you put it all together in a way that's simple and realistic? Let's talk about how to turn this knowledge into a meal you can actually enjoy and stick with. Putting it all together, your erectile health meal. By now, you've heard about the key foods and nutrients that support strong, healthy erections. But none of that matters if it's too complicated to follow. That's why I always tell the men I work with, start with just one simple meal you can build into your routine. Here's what that looks like. Picture your plate. Start with 6 to 8 ounces of grass-fed beef, not overcooked, just gently prepared so the nutrients stay intact. On top, you can add a slice of raw cheese. That cheese brings a nice flavor and gives you a boost of vitamin K2 to help keep your blood vessels clean and flexible. Next, add a side salad. But not just any salad, make arugula the star. Use it as your base. Drizzle on some olive oil and squeeze a bit of fresh lemon juice over it. If you like, toss in a pinch of garlic or a few chopped walnuts for extra heart support. Then, grab a small handful of raw, unsalted pumpkin seeds. You can sprinkle them over your salad or enjoy them on the side. They're packed with magnesium, zinc, and all the minerals your body's been needing to restore balance. This one meal gives your body a full range of the nutrients it needs: clean protein, essential minerals, healthy fats, and plant-based nitrates that all work together to restore blood flow and support hormone health. I've had patients tell me that after just 2 or 3 weeks of eating this meal a couple of times each week, they noticed real changes. Their erections improved. Their energy returned. And more than that, they started feeling sharper, more alive, and more connected to themselves and their partners. It's not about dieting. It's about nourishment. Giving your body the real fuel it's been missing for years. And when you pair this kind of eating with daily sunlight or a high-quality vitamin D3 supplement, you're giving yourself every possible advantage to feel, perform, and live like the man you want to be. But even with all this practical advice, there's one final thing I want to share with you, something just as important as food, nutrients, or exercise. It's a mindset, a shift in how you think about aging, intimacy, and your own strength as a man. Let's finish with that message. If there's just one thing I hope you take away from everything we've talked about today, it's this: your body still has the ability to heal, to change. And yes, to perform, not just in your daily life, but in the bedroom too. I've spent over 30 years working closely with men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s. And I can tell you from experience, getting older does not mean your vitality has to fade. You just need to give your body the right tools. We've talked about how blood flow is the foundation for every erection. And how poor circulation, not just low testosterone, is often the quiet reason behind performance problems. You've seen how grass-fed beef can support your hormones and bring back your energy. How arugula can boost nitric oxide and open up your arteries. And how pumpkin seeds can restore the minerals your body's been craving for years. We also talked about vitamin D3. How something as simple as sunlight or a small supplement can switch your system back on and bring life back to parts of yourself you thought were gone. But more than any of those foods or nutrients, I hope you now see this: these aren't just health tips. They're building blocks. They're fuel for your strength, your confidence, and your connection with yourself and with your partner. When you put these small habits together and you do them with consistency, you're not just improving your health. You're reclaiming a part of your manhood that may have been pushed aside for too long. I've seen men go from frustrated, discouraged, and shut down to alive, confident, and full of purpose just by making a few simple changes and sticking with them. And if they can do it, so can you. So here's what I want you to remember. This is your second prime. Your golden years don't have to be slow or dull. They don't have to be filled with used to and not anymore. They can be strong, passionate, and full of life. You've got wisdom, you've got experience, and you've got heart. Now it's time to give your body the circulation and strength to match. Stay committed, stay hopeful, and above all, stay in the fight. Because the best chapters of your life may still be ahead. If this message spoke to you, if it gave you hope, clarity, or even just one useful idea, I'd be so grateful if you'd take a second to like this video. That way, more men like you can find it. Share it with a friend, a brother, or someone you care about who might be going through the same thing. And if you have any thoughts, questions, or even your own story to share, drop a comment below. I read every single one. Your story could help someone else. And if you'd like to support this channel to help me keep creating honest, helpful content for men over 60, consider making a small donation using the link in the description. Every bit goes toward reaching more men and changing more lives. Thank you for watching. Thank you for taking this step to take care of your health. And always remember, it's never too late to reclaim your strength, your confidence, and your passion. I'm here with you every step of the way.